Pre-day prep, day before the big day. So this won't take very long. I'm just going to kind of hit some of the highlights of some things to be thinking about. Great opportunity though for you to ask any final questions. I've met with every one of your teams, so it's been great. I know you guys have been working hard on iterating your slides and getting your presentations tightened up. But as we go through today, just type anything in the chat, or we can there's only a few of us right now. We can literally turn it on. You can ask a live question. So feel free to ask any last minute live questions overall. So once again, our sponsors, thanks to P&G, Kroger, First Financial, Taft, and KMK. So this is the tail end of it. You guys have made it. We're now, Monday and today is kind of our pitch readiness, where tomorrow is the big day. So tomorrow from 9 to noon, we'll be doing our pitch competition. This is just a final check today to kind of answer any questions and give you some final tips. As a reminder, we've got a number of prizes available here. So first of all, each of your businesses or ideas is classified either as a brand new idea that you guys have started on this summer, and we also had some teams come in with existing ideas. So we have two tracks. We've got a track for companies with new ideas, and there's 7 of you there, and then we've got another track for 3 companies who have come up with came in with existing ideas. And we're going to have a first prize for each of those tracks of $2,500. Plus, you'll get membership to Union Hall and Centrifuge. And maybe the most important thing is you actually get to meet with some startup founders, a VC, and the Centrifuge CEO. And the connections, as I've talked about, as I've met with you all and the like, can be every bit as valuable as the cash prize, especially if you're interested in moving your ideas forward, getting involved in the startup community and the like. We also will have second prize in each category, and that includes getting to meet with the startup founders and the Centrifuge CEO. And then we've got $500 additional bonuses for sustainability, diversity and inclusion, and education. So lots of prizes available here collectively. So everybody should have a good chance at winning something tomorrow. And I know you guys have all worked really hard on your presentations. And quite frankly, I've been very impressed as I've kind of worked with each of you over the last few days individually as teams. I do want to remind you of the competition format. It's really important that you understand this and adhere to this. So as I've told all of you in terms of your presentation, you have 5 minutes. You cannot exceed that time limit. You can't be 5 minutes and 10 seconds, 5 minutes and 20 seconds. I will need to come on and stop as soon as you hit the 5-minute mark. So it's very, very important that you practice your presentations and get it down so that you're going to use, 4 minutes and 55 seconds. You want to use all your time as much as you can, but time yourself, get really comfortable with it so I don't have to interrupt you and stop you before you finish your presentation. So practice, practice, practice. Then as soon as you finish, we will then open it up to the judges, and there will be 4 minutes of questions and answers. I'll talk more about that in a second and how to prepare for that. We'll then allow 1 or 2 of the judges to give you some additional feedback, and then we'll have a minute transition between each of the teams. So in terms of actually presenting, you want to have no more than 2 members of your team present. We've gone through that pretty clearly. I think everybody's kind of set up for that. And then your non-speaking team members can drive your slides, help you answer questions, things of that nature, and the like. All the team members are going to get introduced on slide number 2 already. So that's a great opportunity for everybody to understand who's the team behind your idea. The judging criteria, as I've talked previously, really breaks into 5 categories. How big is the problem and how well have you identified it? What's your solution to the problem? Have you done a good job explaining how it works and all the intricacies of your solution and how you're going to make money and like? What's your go-to-market plan? How are you going to do the marketing and selling? And then how overall effective were you in selling? And how good are you at presenting and your slides and showing enthusiasm and all that? And recall, we're really trying to get people excited about your idea. So I want you to come in tomorrow with, lots of excitement, lots of positivity, and really kind of nail that. So that's the judging criteria. So your decks are due today by 3 o'clock, unless you've spoken to me separately. But everybody, your decks are due today at 3 o'clock, unless I've told you differently. Each team, you're going to be presenting and running your own slides. So what will happen is you'll log on to Zoom tomorrow. We'll have everybody mute. But when your team is up, we will give you control so that you can actually run your slide deck, and then who's ever presenting can unmute and go through and talk. So I would highly suggest that somebody on your team who's not talking run your slides. I think it's a little bit easier that way, but you can do it either way. But you'll basically, everybody should be on mute except the person who's talking, and then run through your slides. We will have a backup of your slides because you're going to send them to us. And so if anything technically happens, we'll be able to jump in and pick up and run your slides from there. And by the way, your slides should be sent to us in one of two formats. Either send us a PDF or send us a PowerPoint. Do not present off of Google presentation mode. So if you create your slides in Google presentation, that's fine, but save them as a PowerPoint or save them as a PDF and present off of that file. We have lots of technical difficulties that can happen when you go through Google presentation mode, so be sure of that. Once again, only one or two presenters for your presentation. Each presenter should go sequentially. Slide number one, I think I've got everybody updated this, your company name and team number. The judges will not know your company name. They'll know you're kind of coming up as team number. So you want to say both your name and your team number on slide number one. Slide number two should then be a picture of your team members, and then your first presenter can introduce the entire team. If you're using two presenters, have presenter one just kind of start out, and then they can quickly introduce presenter number two when they're about to take over. And then at the end of the presentation, we will then do the Q&A, and that follows immediately after the last presenter. And you should have a single point person on your team who basically handles the Q&A section, and the question will be asked, and then that person can either answer the question or direct it to somebody else on their team. But have a single person in charge of your team who's going to field the question and then either answer it themselves or direct it to another team member on your team. It just makes it much more manageable that way. Because we have about 4 minutes, you're probably going to get somewhere between 3 and 4 questions, or 3 to 5 questions asked of you. I'll talk more about that in a second. Let's see. We really do want your final slides by 3 o'clock. So there was a question about, can you make edits? If we don't have the current presentations and you have a tech issue, then we'll be out of sync. So get your final presentations into us by 3 o'clock, please. Unless I've talked to you otherwise. By the way, I apologize. I'm still battling this tremendous cough and cold. Okay, so next slide. Q&A section. This is the 4-minute section. So you're going to finish your presentation. You're going to have somebody who's going to take the lead, and the judges will then ask questions directly to you. You can expect between 3 to 5 questions being asked. So you might want to think about what questions might they ask us, and who's the best person on our team to ask that question. So if you get a marketing and sales question, who should answer that? If you get a technical question about the product or service, who should answer that? So, and what kinds of questions might we get? So think about what those questions might be. And then if you're kind of prepared for that, one way to kind of go do this, by the way, is think about what questions you could ask each other of it, and see if you can figure out a way to kind of then best answer that question. It's really important. This is a really key thing too, is listen to the question carefully and make sure you're answering the right question. Sometimes we all get so nervous and pumped up about this. We don't always, listen to the question closely enough, and we wind up answering the wrong question. So really make sure you understand the question. And if you don't understand the question, if it's a little too complex, or it was a little, the judge didn't really kind of make it very clear, it's okay to simply say, can you repeat exactly your question? I want to make sure I understand exactly what you're asking here, and let them simply quickly repeat it, and they'll be happy to do that. And then when you start to answer the question, each and every questions, it's always just a good practice. And this is just pitch competition 101 training, is to start out by saying, hey, that's a really good question, and then answer it, or, and then just kind of jump into it, or thanks for asking that question, then give your answer. Now, because you only have 4 minutes, keep your answers short and sweet, 30 to 60 seconds. It's actually really good for your team to answer 3 to 5 questions. If you give a long-winded answer to the first question, and we're going to run out of time for more Q&A, it actually hurts you because you really want to have, the judges ask you several different questions about your idea, and it will further help explain and show, how much you really thought through your idea and the like. And if you answer a question in 30 seconds and the judge has have a follow-up question, they'll ask it of you. So try to keep your answers short and sweet, very direct, and be positive and confident. And this is a great way to kind of go through what it is like to really go run a startup business. I've started 5 businesses myself in the past, and when you have to go raise money for your company, you develop these pitch decks, and instead of 5 minutes, you might be with an investor for 60 minutes, and you're presenting for 15 minutes, and then you have 30 or 45 minutes of questions, and really getting comfortable doing that and confident doing that and understanding your business. Because what investors want to do is invest in people who understand the problem, understand their solution, and can confidently talk through all the aspects of their business. So this is a great opportunity for you to build your presentation skills and really understand what it takes to be an entrepreneur and do startups. So that's what the Q&A section is about. That's really all I have. The judges we're going to ask the judges at the end, one of the judges, to give you any additional feedback and all that. I think you guys have some really good next step slides also too. So let me just open it up and see if there's any more questions regarding anything regarding tomorrow. Once again, I've met with all of you several times, I think. I've got a few more meetings later today, I know, with some of you. But are there any other questions that anybody has right now? Okay, looks like you're all confident and feel great. Okay, you've got our emails. If anything comes up, get your slides done by 3 o'clock today. Make sure you're logged on, well before 9 o'clock tomorrow. Get in there by 8:45 or so. Check your connections. Make sure your team members are on. Dress nice. Test your microphone, all those good things, and let's have fun tomorrow. I mean, I think this is going to be really a great chance for you to kind of show all your hard work, and you all have some really good ideas. So I'm really excited to see what the judges say tomorrow, and congratulations on getting this far, and let's finish it off tomorrow with some great effort. Okay.
Yep. Thank you so much, Professor.
You got it.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Reach out to us if you need anything at all.